Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This week I want to share something personal with you. It's very practical as well. I want to talk about how to put together a budget to pay off your debt when you're in a very low income. I actually want to share Morten and my numbers with you guys. Those numbers are not relevant to everybody, I know that, because I'm in Scandinavia. So if you're watching from anywhere in the rest of Europe or in the States, the numbers might not make that much sense, but I want to talk about how to categorize your spending as well. So I hope that this video will make sense and give you some ideas and encouragement on how to actually pay off your debt when you have a low income. Because it can feel like you have this big hole in front of you and you're trying to fill it with small little pennies. So I just want to share it with you guys and hope that you get some ideas. The first category is housing. So you're either paying rent or you're paying a mortgage. If you're paying your mortgage, then you might consider, if you're in a really tough situation and you have a lot of debt and you can see that your income will be pretty low for a long time, then you might consider selling that house and getting an apartment instead. Square footage is really expensive. It's one of the biggest categories always in a budget. So anything you can do to cut this one down. It might seem extreme to give up your nice apartment and move to something smaller, but I guarantee you in the first year or two you will have saved a lot of money, and to be able to pay that off, the debt will just really make a big impact. So I'm not telling you to run out and sell your house, I'm just telling you to consider what are your options. When Morten and I were paying off our debt, we actually managed to get our rent down to only $150, and that is extremely low. And we know that, but that was because we chose to actually take in some friends that lived with us. So we kind of rented out a few rooms to these friends, and we did that for 3 years till we paid off the rest of our debt. So we gave up privacy, and this is not for everyone, but this is what we chose to do to make it go faster. So for us, it was worth the trade-off with privacy. It might not be for you, but you might have other options. So just really take a good hard look at what your options are, and you're gonna probably have to sacrifice something. The next category that is usually pretty high as well is food and household items. So it's general groceries and everything you get in a grocery store. So toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and all that kind of stuff. This particular category is something that Morten and I have really struggled with over the years. We always tend to spend more on food than we planned for. So this is one area where we've always had to really restrain ourselves and be extremely disciplined. A few things that you can do to help your money go further in this category is, of course, to make things yourself. So cook at home, cook your meals yourself, even the lunch and the breakfast ones. Bake your own bread. Some people even make like their own deodorant and shampoo and stuff, and you can go crazy in this area, and there's really a lot of stuff that you can do and can make yourself. One thing that's really important here is to not shop when you're hungry. If you go to this grocery store when you're hungry, you're always gonna end up with extra things. So eat before you go to the grocery store. Our budget for this was $375 US, and this is extremely low for Denmark. I don't know where you are in the world, and grocery bills might be very different from what they are here, but here it's more normal to be around the $440 US mark. So just try to really get that category, the budget, the number, get it as low as possible. Obviously, you have to eat probably and get all your nutrition and stuff like that, but really try to be creative in this area. The third category is transportation. Most of you guys might have a car, some people don't. We didn't have a car when we were paying off our debt actually. We have really good public transportation, and bike lanes in Denmark are incredible. So it's really easy in Denmark to save on this bill. If we did have to go somewhere further away, we had to take the trains. The ticket prices are kind of expensive, and renting a car can also be pretty costly. But it was just a good way for us to stay flexible and keep our monthly bill down. Another option is to maybe sell your car. Consider it. Sell your car. If you really need a car, then you might be able to take some of that money and buy an older car with cash, and then use that difference that you get out of selling your car to pay off your debt faster. It really goes a long way. Whatever money you can rack up to put towards the debt really makes a big difference. Our budget for transportation was $120 a month. The fourth category is a tricky one because this is where a lot of the wants are hidden, not necessarily the needs. So this is the lifestyle category. It includes date nights, it includes pocket money if you have that, if you're a couple. It includes your phone bill, your TV, Netflix, any kind of subscription like that, clothes, everything. And our monthly budget for this was $300. This might not sound like a very fun plan, but you do have a lot of options to cut costs in this category. You can get rid of your cable, you can quit your subscription to Netflix, maybe HBO, whatever other subscriptions you might have, could be to magazines and stuff. You can go to friends' houses and watch, or you can watch some of the movies that you've already purchased during the years. You also have the option of actually talking to your friends. Might be shocking. You can read a book, one of the ones you already have on your shelf, or you can go to the library. That doesn't cost anything either. So there are options for entertainment even though you might be without your cable for a while. And also keep in mind, you can always start up your Netflix or HBO again later when you have a little bit more money every month. So maybe just think of it as something you'll do without for a few months, 6 months or a year, maybe 2 years, and then you know that you'll join them again. And then it might not seem so bad. I highly recommend that you guys use the pocket money method when you're doing this if you're a couple, because this really gives you kind of a little bit of freedom and wiggle room to decide for yourself what you're doing. Morten likes to go out and have a beer or two with his friends. He likes to go to the movies, he likes doing things that are fun like that. For me, I might meet with my friends at home more, but I tend to spend more money on clothes. And this would just give us a little bit of flexibility so that if I chose to save up my money for 2 to 3 months to get a really nice pair of shoes or a new jacket or something in a better quality, which is what I generally prefer, then I would be able to do that without him being like, are you sure you want to spend that much on a jacket? For me, it was more like, are you going out with your friends again? And it was just really easy to get in constant conflict with each other and really start nagging each other. So pocket money, it might sound a little juvenile, but it works. For us, pocket money, it had to cover both clothes, having fun with friends, going to the movies, buying a cup of coffee, like pretty much anything that I would go out and do on my own had to be covered by my pocket money. We had $45 a month, and that is not a lot in Denmark. You can't really get a cup of coffee for less than $8. A simple meal at a cafe would be around $18, and a cheap pair of pants would be $45 or around there. So $45 a month was very low, but we did it, and I think we only kept it like that for 6, 7, 8 months maybe, and then we put a little extra in there. This category also includes date money. We would use these to go out to have fun as a couple together, or maybe on a double date. But when you're doing something like this, it can be kind of tough in the long run. So you need a little bit of a budget to have fun as a couple and do things together. But it's still super easy to do it cheap. So you might rent a movie, you could go to a hot dog stand and just go for a walk and talk to each other. You could pack a picnic at home, buy your groceries, or cook something and just bring it to the park, bring it to somewhere with a great view. It's a lot cheaper and it's really a lot of fun. A lot of places, some museums, they tend to have like one free night a month or something like that, so you might also be able to find something like that. You could also look for deals. Just keep in mind that if you look for deals on something specific, then it shouldn't make you spend more than what your budget for that thing originally was. So if it makes you spend more, then it's not a good deal. So stay away from doing that. Phone plans are in this category as well, and just go as cheap as possible. Try to choose the plan that where you don't call much, you don't send a lot of images and video chats and all that stuff. I don't know what your options are where you're at, but just really try to keep it as low as possible. Fifth category is miscellaneous. So the one thing that is completely sure is that something is gonna come up and you just don't know what it is. We budgeted $60 every month for this, and we always liked having it there. Putting even just a small number aside every month will just give you a little bit of cushion so it doesn't throw you off and you can regain your strength really fast and stay on your budget. Category number 6 would be to have a budget account. We put $165 each month in a budget account, and this is to cover insurance, dentist, presents for birthdays and Christmas. You know they're coming and they come around every year, so plan for them so it doesn't become stressful. What we do is we set a yearly budget for presents, and then we divide that up by 12, and then we set aside that amount every month. Of course, it's important this way that when you have to go out and buy the presents that you stick to the budget that you already decided at the beginning of the year, because if you overspend on every single little present, then your budget won't stick, of course. So stick to the budget that you set. If your insurance goes up, then you of course have to go back, look at the budget, and adjust accordingly. Our 7th category was we pay 10% to our church every month. So I put it on here for you guys to see that it is possible that even though you have a very low income, it's possible to prioritize giving that 10%. One of the last categories is to save up a teeny tiny little bit every month to put in an emergency account, just to put a little bit of wiggle room between you and whatever might happen. We didn't do this, but I would really recommend that you do it. Even if you can save up $20 a month, it really goes a long way for giving you peace of mind that if something happens, then you'll have at least some money saved up to put towards that. You might have car trouble, you might have a medical thing, you never know, and I really wish that we had done this, so I'm passing on the advice to you. The last part is to pay off your debt and try to increase your income if at all possible. We made minimum payments on everything, and that was $1,200 a month. Then we took whatever extra we made and put towards the smallest debt. This is a really good idea because when you pay off the smallest debt, then you gain momentum faster, because when you've paid it off, it's a small amount, so you'll likely be able to pay it off pretty fast. Then once you've paid that off, you attack the second smallest, and then you add that amount on top, and then that will start to go faster, and then you can just start chipping away really fast as you go along. Since we finished paying off our debt, I heard about Dave Ramsey, and he actually calls this concept the debt snowball. And we did it kind of on our own without knowing about him or his ideas, but I really encourage you guys to check him out because he has a lot of wisdom in this area when it comes to finances. It's a really good way to do it because then every time you pay off a small little debt, then you get this victory, and it gives you kind of a positive boost of energy to keep going and pushing through, and then you really want to get to the next one, and it can be kind of competitive with yourself. Maybe it's better if you're a competitive person, I don't know. I am. That's it, guys. That's everything I wanted to share with you. I hope this video isn't too long, but there's a lot to say about budgeting and getting out of debt in general. So if you have any more ideas, leave them down in the comments for people to watch. I'll try to link in the cards and in the description to anything that might be relevant to this. If you want me to do more videos like this, please let me know downstairs in the comments. Like it, share this video if you want to, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!